Welcome everyone. Every year we take this opportunity to gather some of the most amazing projects implemented by our partners around the world. Okay. And acknowledge their efforts by presenting them in our Wialon community. These cases are a perfect example of how our Wialon partners are able to offer new and unique solutions in the telematics industry. As you all might already know, we have introduced our IoT Project of the Year Awards, which is a global competition for our partners to nominate their projects. This year, we received almost 100 applications for 17 nominated categories. We had 25 people in our jury team who chose the winners of this awards. Just a few weeks ago, we announced the winners online, which you can also find on our YouTube channel in case you missed it. We are going to have 3 rounds in total with 9 implemented use cases. After each round, there will be a Q&A session, so please feel free to ask your questions. Let's proceed to our first case. As we all might agree, COVID-19 has reshaped our lives in one way or another. It has literally forced our human race to change their approach to different situations during the pandemic. This case was submitted last year during COVID-19, yet it is still relevant because COVID-19 is still here. This implementation took place in the month of May 2020, where a construction project was closed due to the lockdown restrictions in Canada. Let us see what are the challenges they were facing at the moment. First, I will share a brief overview about this case, where a construction company covered a total site of 67 square kilometers in total, with more than 2,000 employees working on site. In order for them to resume this project, it was necessary to take the required safety measures with proven records. Keeping this in mind, the company decided to look for a telematics solution which will allow them to track and manage their housekeeping staff. They wanted to ensure the usual staff resources like trailers, toilets, and hand washing stations to be cleaned or disinfected for a specific number of times during an 8-hour shift. The public health authorities would only allow them to resume the operations on site if they could provide detailed reports with necessary steps taken. In addition, they required an alert system that could quickly inform the management whenever the cleaning supplies, such as disinfectant or paper towels, were required throughout the site. Our Canadian partner, Extelia, developed a custom solution for this end client which complied perfectly with their requirements. The solution includes the use of VR tag that was installed on the mobile phones of the cleaning personnel. As you may remember, earlier today, implementation manager Nawaz explained and presented how VR tag has been updated significantly this year. Our partners developed a custom solution called X-Track, which was integrated with Wialon. This custom platform was used as a central database where all the cleaning events were registered and reports were generated. First time, they tried creating geofences which could help them get alerts whenever the cleaner enters the area. However, that was not very efficient for them. So a unique QR code was installed on every asset that can be scanned while the cleaners were cleaning them. Now, using VR tag, the staff can scan these QR codes and alert the management whenever they are running out of supplies like paper towels or sanitizers. They used reports in Wialon to record all cleaning operations done on the daily basis. It is also important to mention that our partners were able to create and implement this solution within 48 hours. Let's move at the results. With this solution implemented, the end user benefited in many ways. It is difficult to put a commercial value on such a critical project. However, they were now able to comply with all regulations and to ensure the health and safety of more than 2,000 employees on site. They were now able to prove all the fulfilled regulations with proven reports submitted to the Public Health Authority. We can all imagine the cost that this end client was bearing with the salaries of 2,000 employees or other financial losses that they were facing due to the delays in the reopening of this site. The end client was happy to find a solution which avoided such circumstances. The construction company also shared a positive feedback on this solution. As per them, even when this pandemic situation is over, they still have an effective management system for their cleaning operations. That's it for this case. I would like to call Karina, who will be presenting our next case.
Thank you. Okay, nowadays more and more companies trying to opt out for more environmental solutions for their operations. And our next end customer is a perfect example of that. In order to play their part in making our world cleaner and safer, they decided to introduce vehicles with gas engines into their fleet. As methane is being used here, is being considered as one of the most environmentally friendly fuel out of all existing ones. And another great benefit it brings is the 36% in the fuel saving consumptions. Although Middle East is being known for one of the largest oil reserves, and you might think why I'm starting to talk about the gas engines, this scenario might change in the future where the natural gas overtaking oil to become one of the leading fuel consumed. As per a quick online research that I have done prior to this case, it is estimated that by the year of 2040, natural gas would account for 60% of the total energy consumed. With this in mind, let us look in together what difficulties end customer using the gas engine can come across. Any gas engine works as the autothermal cycle, where heat is being supplied to the working fluid at the constant volume. And due to the high octane number, gas engines have a higher compression ratio and are more sensitive to overheating. Improper operations can lead to damage and fuel burnt out. At that point, the customer had no way of monitoring the important indicators, which would control the temperature regime. That's why, and employees would also ignore the indicators and sometimes would not report any issues with the gas engine. And this potentially could lead to a very high maintenance costs. So our partner, 70 Oil 2 Men, resolved the situation in the following way. The first step was to determine which sensors to be installed inside the vehicle. The client required the sensors to be installed reliably and that they would have a proper installation. A partner offered a standard digital sensors that they have previously tested and they knew that they were reliable. The next step was to understand what data need to be obtained from the CAN bus for each of the cars. The main requirement from the client was to get a temperature control readings and the engine speed. With no doubt, it was possible to obtain this data. And lastly, partner configured sensors in Wialon so that they would display all the temperature readings and speed through the dashboard, and of course the reports in order to get all the information by the end of the shift. And in case of significant temperature increase, the notification would be triggered. Okay, the results. After the implementation of this solution, drivers started to treat the equipment with care. Knowing that the company is monitoring the indicators and it is possible to view the entire history, they started indicating any possible issues related to the gas engine. This ensured the safety of the vehicle and prevented any future breakage. On average, a new gas engine can cost around $4,000, and for the customer with 70 vehicles in his fleet, that could end up in quite a high number of savings. Furthermore, with implemented speed control, a customer was able to control the driver's behavior on the road. This helped to analyze their performance and reduce any potential fines or penalties. Indeed, the entire solution might not seem extremely complex. However, it reminds us that even simple implementation of telematics can help the customers to save their funds. That's it for this case, and the next one will be presented by Kevin.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you. Before I get started, I have a very small question to ask everyone. Does anybody know to whom the fuel in any country belongs to? No? Well, if you're thinking of the government, then you're absolutely right. Yeah, there are many private players in the supply chain. However, the most valuable asset still belongs to the government. So I'm sure you'd all agree that the government is going to spend a lot of time and money to protect such a valuable asset. Yeah. It is my pleasure to inform you that Wialon's monitoring solutions have been implemented in several such cases around the world and have helped in saving hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, till date. Let's take a look at this project. So this particular project comes from South Africa. Okay, this was implemented by our partner Tracking Africa for the customer Virit Petroleum. Now, just to give you a quick brief about Virit Petroleum. Virit Petroleum is a very big distributor in South Africa for petroleum and oil products. Besides this, they are also into delivering, cleaning services for hazardous spills, as well as delivering environmentally friendly chemicals to farmers. So yes, they carry a lot of expensive cargo. One of the major concerns that Virit Petroleum was facing was there was a loss of vehicles due to theft or hijacking, which unfortunately is quite high and common in South Africa. Each vehicle costs around $27,000 to $40,000 on an average. Besides the cost of the vehicle, they are also carrying very precious cargo. So every truck is carrying 50,000 liters of fuel. Depending on the market situation, you can imagine how expensive that truck is. Yeah. Also, due to the bad driving behavior, the client was losing fuel to theft from his own drivers. Yeah, they were stealing fuel from their own company, and some of them had the audacity to also claim overtime pay by making unauthorized or illegal stops on the side of the road. Let's take a look at what the partner did with Wialon. So, after installing trackers on the vehicles with specialized sensors as well as cameras, the partner created multiple geofences and notifications in Wialon to accurately track the vehicle's movement. Furthermore, drivers and their behaviors could now be monitored thanks to the driver ID tag and the driver identification and eco-driving feature. The customer gets a daily report on unauthorized stops, so he can see if a driver is meeting his schedule or not. Besides this, our partner also installed a remote panic button in case if the driver was faced in an event of a hijacking. He had a way of notifying whoever is tracking him. And what were the results? The results are quite clear in this case. Since moving to Wialon, the client has saved numerous tankers of fuel from being hijacked by promptly being notified, thanks to the remote panic button as well as the instant notifications feature of Wialon. Furthermore, the camera solutions that was installed by the partner saved the client money from false overtime claims by drivers. Yeah? The driver ID assists with driver taking responsibility for any fines or any unauthorized stops, as well as tracking them throughout their daily shift. Also, there was a massive reduction in speeding fines in this particular project. Practically 0 fines were issued after the implementation of Wialon. In summary, by implementing geofence-based notifications, as well as using customized hardware with sensors, the customer was always aware of the vehicle and its whereabouts, including the cargo location. The floor is open for the question and answer now, from any of those 3 cases.
How do you compensate for expansion?
In which particular project?
Well, you're carrying fuel, so obviously you get more, the data shows there's more fuel, it expands, doesn't it?
I'm sorry?
Fuel.
Yes.
Right, so they've got 1,000 liters in there. But fuel expands.
Okay.
So you have more fuel when you leave. When you leave with 1,000 liters, you have an extra 100 liters. Oh, not 100, 10 liters extra.
It's a very good question, and you're pretty much dwelling on the realms of thermodynamics, the laws of thermodynamics where fuel expands.
So it is there, fuel expands.
However, these containers are not regular containers. These cater to, they cater to carrying such, I'm not a chemical engineer. I am definitely not a manufacturing engineer.
Neither am I, but this scenario we'd faced 5 years ago, so things may have changed. We were working with a German telematics company who brought it to our attention 5 years ago. When you leave with X amount, you come out with Y.
Okay.
So obviously the new tankers may be different, but we are talking South Africa and other countries where they do not replace equipment.
You'll have to excuse me because you're speaking from experience, and I haven't experienced this case, but it is very interesting. You are bringing up very important points.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
They actually have built-in temperature sensors in it. And the key thing in a fuel level sensor is to have a proper thermal compensation algorithm, because fuel expands and fuel contracts, obviously. But in this case, the actual level does not correspond to the volume, to the money. So that means the thermal compensation algorithm will compensate for this expansion and contraction. That's all.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Yes.
I have a question regarding the first project.
Sure.
With the first project with the cleaning area, how they know how long the cleaners stay in the cleaning area?
Again,
because the cleaner just scan that barcodes and that's all. He don't know if he stay there or he go to, because I think was better if you using some BLE sensors and you can and you know how long it's connected on that area.
Mm-hmm. No, so first they tried using geofences to make sure how much time they are spending in a cleaning station, let's say. Mm-hmm. But that was not very efficient because you don't know if the cleaner is really going to clean each and every spot. So for each and every spot, their main...
Have barcode on each toilet, each...
Yes. Let's say the washing station, hand washing station. So there was a barcode installed, QR code was installed. So the main concern here was to make sure that these all spots were cleared, not the time they spent in these spots. So once the QR code was scanned, they know that they have visited the spots and they have cleaned all these cleaning stations and trailers and whatsoever.
Yes, but it's one job more to do for the cleaner, you know?
Yeah, it is, but again...
His job is to clean that area, not to make pictures. Okay.
Yeah, but he had VR tag in his phone, so it was very easy for him. He was just carrying the phone, and once he finished his cleaning, he had to scan it. But again, the main purpose of this whole solution was to make the site running, because it was closed due to COVID-19 restrictions, and they needed something to, which would help them to reopen this site. So this is the solution which was successful, and also the public health authorities allowed them based on the reports, because in the reports it was mentioned how many times, if it's being properly being sanitized or not. So once they had these reports, they continued with the construction site. Okay.
Thank you.
I think there's another lady at the back.
Thank you. For the last story, the panic button and the driver, like if he presses the panic button, what happens? What are the consequences? Is the police monitoring it? It could be like the driver presses it, he has his team, they still steal the fuel and they go. So what have they saved?
Well, very good question. Objectively, you're right. If anyone had to do something, they would find a way to do it. In this particular case with the remote panic button, at least the operator who was monitoring it at the customer site was immediately notified. And also there were cameras installed, rear facing and inwards facing. So they would be able to see what was the action and dispatch. So also to add to your question, Tracking Africa, besides providing tracking solutions, they also have, I believe, a sister company, or they're in partnership with a security company that provides guards. So I'm not entirely sure, because I've discussed this with them, but the remote panic button would notify the operator to take preventive measures. So the preventive measures could be either alerting the police or other emergency personnel, or probably taking some action on locking the door or seizing the fuel. I'm not too sure, but I will get back to you. Yes. Thank you.
And about the camera, is it only recording inside the driver, or is it also recording outside to see who's...
Well, to the best of my knowledge, it was both indoor and outdoor.
And to put the camera on the tank, I think it's forbidden, right? Because you can't put any external things on those fuel tank. It's dangerous.
I'm not aware, but Mr. Mohan Agarwal seems to have an answer to your question.
Yes.
Since we are installing the cameras in the oil tankers, if you press the panic button, it directly pops out the cameras and the entire sensors activated in the control room. So you can see the whole tankers from the remote location, and you can act accordingly. And the cameras are all around the tankers. Yeah, all around the tankers, yeah. Yeah, even the security companies are informed who are attached to the tanker security. So they can act accordingly. They can reach to the destination, and because the GPS is active, then they get the right coordinates of the location.
It will be very enlightening to me to know how they're allowed to put any cameras on because it's forbidden. We tried here to do it for one customer, and they said it's forbidden. So I don't know, maybe there is a way so that you don't put the screws on the tank itself or whatever. Through the wall. Yeah, it's approved to do the welding.
I think Hohen have anti-explosion cameras that are only certain. Are you with Hohen or? Yeah, I think Hohen has explosion-proof cameras that are dedicated for fuel tankers. So. The welding, okay. I mean, they weld, then they install the camera. They do not weld where the tanker is full.
Thank you to these three gentlemen for answering the question. Thank you for saving my backside. I'm going to go back to Zain now.
Okay. This case got a special recognition as it was recently nominated as one of the winners of our IoT Project Awards. Our partners, Cloud Services Group from Egypt, implemented this solution for a logistics company. Let's have a look at the challenges faced by this end customer. Sky Logistics is a leading supply chain and transportation services provider who are engaged with the largest manufacturers of oil and gas, heavy machinery, and delivering valuable products across Egypt. They were facing major challenges in the automating of their delivery operations and digitizing their management systems. They required a solution to optimize their day-to-day operations, which can also improve their services and save costs that was spent on the fleet operations. Also, their target was to meet the daily quota for the amount of these deliveries across Egypt. Keeping all this in mind, they had evaluated 27 platforms in 15 months, yet they were not able to find one comprehensive solution to fulfill all their requirements. Our partners, CSG, proposed them with Wialon and the logistics app to monitor and automate their order dispatching system. As they didn't have any management system before, everything was built from scratch. Our partners built a solution called Fleet Edge, which is a custom fleet management based on 11 modules of Wialon. This solution helped the business owners to plan, manage different projects, and at the same time optimize their fleet resources accordingly. They used Wialon-based application logistics for the end client to create routes and assign orders to the drivers on the field. They also combined this solution and which allowed them to create necessary checkpoints for deliveries and generate notifications accordingly. They set up reports based on their drivers' daily routines so they can evaluate the driver's performance. The logistics mobile app was used to track these drivers who were which helped them to manage these deliveries and communicate with them while they were on the field. Different types of sensors were created. Different types of sensors were created to monitor the temperature, weight, and access of these goods. They also installed different types of hardwares in vehicle, including dashboard tablets, which was running Fleet Edge and logistics used by the drivers. During this implementation, our partners extensively trained the end user staff on the management system, including the logistics app for the drivers on the field. Let us look at the results they managed to get from this implementation. Using this solution helped the client to achieve a greater number of successful deliveries. Now, it was possible to complete their job orders within at least 50% of the time which was taken before. With this automated job dispatch module, they were able to manage their orders with greater efficiency. They can now monitor the drivers in real time and get updates once the driver reached their checkpoints, which were the delivery destinations. The idling time of the vehicle was also cut short. So from before it used to be around 30 minutes, now it came to 20 minutes. The end user was satisfied with all our result and shared his plans to set up a command and control center based on this solution. Yeah, that's it for this case. Let me call Karina to present our next one.
Thank you. We're constantly talking about IoT solutions and its benefits in a variety of solutions as well. Today, I would like to tell you a little bit more of how it can be implemented in the agriculture sector as well. Our end customer is one of the largest apple orchards in Russia with a territory of 110 hectares. Just for the comparison, it's a territory of around 44 football fields combined together. So you can imagine how big the operations are. And although they have been supplying their product to multiple sites across the country, they have noticed a lack of control and stability within their current operations. One of the main issues, it was accounting of the harvest. It was rather basic and lacked specific factors. There was no way to check the results as per the specific area, employee, or marketability. The only way how accounting was done is what type of apples and how much of it was be collected for one yield. This way, it was difficult to identify any specific oversights in case if the planned projections would not be reached. Furthermore, it was impossible to conduct individual sites analytics and compare with the result. My apologies. Lastly, it was not possible to digitize the movement of the containers from the place where apples has been picked to the place of the transportation. And unfortunately, because the product was not counted for, the employees would take advantage of it and they would steal the product as well. Now, implementation. Our partner Intera has completed the immense work to assist the customer with their operations. First of all, there was a lot of custom development involved here, where the partner had to connect several key solutions that customer was using on a daily basis with Wialon. Those solutions are accounting and weighting systems. Moreover, they have developed a custom web interface and mobile applications in order to optimize the process of harvesting and collecting. This helped to represent all the necessary information in a straightforward graphical view, and it was easy to track and track the process on a daily, monthly, or yearly basis. As part of the solution, the initial directories were also digitized and included into the current accounting system. This helped with future projections as all information about the harvest for the previous years was conveniently saved in one space. Furthermore, a partner has developed a printing mechanism that would generate a special QR codes on the labels, and once printed, they will be put on a box. And once you scan the QR code, it would show all the necessary information about this particular batch. This made the process of weighting and control much easier. As per the results, during all stages of the implementation, customer has provided a comprehensive support. However, the resistance from the line personnel has been noticed. It took a while to teach each employee how to use a newly developed system and utilize it within their daily routine. As a result of using a product during the apple harvesting period, all employees learn how to use a new solution and manage to optimize it within their working time. Finally, the customer was able to collect and save the harvest more conveniently. The target yield for that year was 2,400 tons of apples. In reality, taking into account the implementation of new solution, they managed to collect 3,000 tons of apples. And that is almost 20% increase of the harvest in one season. And you must agree those are really good results. That's it for this case, and I'll pass the mic to Kevin.
Thank you, Karina. Anyone here been to Spain? Yes? Okay, thank you. The reason I ask is because my second case for today comes from Spain, okay, and is related to tracking local deliveries for a very prominent postal services company called Correos, as you can see from people who have been to Spain. Yeah? Now, let me tell you about Correos. Their main business is sending packages and correspondence all over Spain. They serve individual customers as well as large corporations. This project was implemented to track close to 700 vehicles and was particularly important project for our partner because Correos is a very, very well-known name in Spain. The main challenge here was ineffective shipment control. So basically, Spain is a very big country with thousands of diverse routes of medium and long range. Moreover, there are multiple users in Koreos' network. So there is a high rotation of the number of drivers, as well as on the operational side, there are lots of teams running in shifts because it's a 24/7 operation. Furthermore, the customer also wanted a unified single sign-on system to use Wialon with other applications, third-party applications. The most interesting thing to note here was this is not the first time Koreos has implemented a solution. They've had previous solutions, so they have the hardware, the trackers, the sensors, the alarms, everything already existing. And they did not want to invest on any new hardware or sensors. So considering all these challenges, our partner proposed Wialon and successfully implemented the solution, which is why it's here today. Let me tell you more of how that was done. As Wialon is integrated with over 2,400 different hardware models, that was not a challenge for our partner to integrate the existing hardware from Koreos' network with Wialon. They also implemented all the features of Wialon, such as geofences, notifications, drivers, and many more, and made it possible to accurately compile all the necessary documentation that was requested by Koreos' compliance team. Furthermore, by leveraging Wialon's Open API, or SDK, the software development kit, our partner created a custom application to manage the alarms, improve traceability of driver and courier, as well as carry out the necessary integrations with other existing third-party applications. They developed different modules that expand Wialon's capabilities, such as advanced reports of routes, punctuality, cargo, etc., custom alarms using the notifications tab, dashboard for better visibility of each concern, and lastly, integration with the other existing third-party application. By implementing all of the above, the customer was able to get better visibility of his entire delivery life cycle, as well as dramatically reduce the delivery time of goods. This, in turn, helped the customer to save money on unnecessary operational expenses such as extra fuel, driver overtime, etc. Moreover, our partner also provided several training sessions with detailed documentation to ensure that the Koreos team always had the necessary information at hand. The floor is now open for question and answers in all these cases. Great, none. Go back to Zain.
If you have any questions, you can maybe ask them during the break. Okay. This is a very special project which is being implemented globally for the well-known company Coca-Cola. So the logistics company handling their operations called Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Partners were looking for an efficient tracking system for their operations center based in Papua New Guinea. So let's see the challenges they were facing. The company has a fleet of more than 500 containers that are used to ship Coca-Cola products around the country. While these containers were on land transport, the trucks used the national highways which are infested with robbers. In case of unfortunate situations, there was no way to track the location of these containers, which increased the chances of theft. The client was also spending unnecessary detention charges whenever these containers were left at the yard for a longer period of time. The penalty amounts were increased based on the duration of these containers left at the yard. This was one of the main challenges they wanted to overcome. Another one was due to lack of planning, they were not able to plan their trips or notify their customers on the ETA of the shipments and or inform them if there were any delays. To avoid all these situations, they required a tracking solution for their containers to remotely monitor them and manage their shipping operations accordingly. Implementation. The first step here was to ensure the safety of these containers and to track them remotely. They tried installing different types of trackers and finally found the one which was perfect for this case. These trackers were painted, so now they look like installed vents on these containers, which avoided cases of someone trying to alter them or remove them. They used Wialon as their main solution at the beginning, but later on also created a customized dashboard using Wialon's API. This dashboard was used to display information, for example, like the real-time location of these containers en route or other life statistics. They also created SOS alerts for the drivers in case of emergencies and generated automated reports using jobs module in Wialon. Let's see the results. The main noted result was cutting down of the expenses related to the detention charges of these containers. The containers were now more safe and secure from the situations of theft, which could also be reported to the authorities with the real-time location of these containers. Now they were also able to notify their clients on the current status of the deliveries with location of these containers, which helped optimize their deliveries. With this easy management of the containers, they were now able to boost their supply chain management efficiently. Coca-Cola liked this solution since the beginning, and now they're implementing this same solution across many regions around the world. In addition, they also shared their plans to integrate the same solution with their accounting systems. This was all for this case. Let me call Karina, who will be presenting our next case.
Thank you. So for our next case, I would like to introduce a solution created by our Russian partner, Geolit. They have taken the initiative to optimize the operations of a taxi and car sharing companies across Moscow. The project has been implemented through one particular local taxi company with over 100 vehicles. When parking a car, driver often forgets or sometimes doesn't even pay a roll for the parking. And after that, organization that owns the vehicle receives the penalty for about $70 per penalty. And with the fleet of 100 vehicles, this can end up to $7,000 on a monthly basis on just penalties for parking alone. Drivers also receive other fines from the state traffic safety authorities, which are also imposed on the organization that owns the car. Furthermore, it is difficult to track and analyze the receipts of the payments of using the car for rent. It is also necessary to control that the car did not go beyond a certain area of the usage. And another penalty which comes quite often is the car is being used without the dash cam. And of course, the penalties go to the owners of the car. In order to resolve this issue, our partner has created a rather innovative solution. They have created a specific bot for a messenger Viber, which is equivalent to our WhatsApp, and integrated it with several crucial solutions that have to be used for this business. Those services are invoice generator, car sharing app, a governmental portal to check the penalties, accounting system, and of course Wialon. The bot is fully automated and can complete several tasks at once. First of all, it has the ability to automatically start the parking session in allocated parking areas. Furthermore, through a custom-developed interface for a driver in the messenger itself, he can cancel the parking in case of the wrong determination. Drivers can also easily link their bank cards to the system, and they will be able to withdraw their earned money from the car-sharing app to their card at any point during 24/7. The bot will track all the traffic fines, charge them to the driver who was driving the car during the violation, and write off the amount from their debt from their balance at the app. Partner also implemented more flexible work with the car-sharing app, which helps to quickly track car rental errors. When leaving the permitted area, exceeding the allowed speed, or detecting interference, the driver will receive the warnings. The partner also implemented a blocking of the engine when the car leaves the permitted zone. This is also applicable in case if the driver accumulated way too many penalties on his account. Also, bot has a voice assistant for filling out the waybills of the taxi fleet drivers. When scheduled maintenance is approaching, the bot will send the reminder to a mechanic, will register the car to the service, and also inform the driver that he needs to go and bring the car and visit the service. After the bot been implemented, the end customer has reported significant improvement with their operations. One of the main ones is that amount of parking fines has been drastically reduced. For a company with a high number of vehicles, this is an extremely important factor as it takes a lot of unnecessary expenses for the organization. Furthermore, it was reported that the idle time of the car has also been reduced. This helped to optimize the general operations and improve the fleet performance of the customer. That's it for this case, and for the last one, welcome, Kevin.
Thank you again. Thank you. So we have a room full of people here. People, some of them from Dubai, some of them have flown in. So people who are coming to Dubai for the first time, welcome. People who are visiting Dubai again, welcome back. And people who live here, nice to have you. The reason I say this is because when you're driving down the highway, you get into an accident. What's the number that you call? Are you a local resident? Okay, everyone's guessing now. Yeah, so, okay, just to put everyone out of the misery, it's 999. Yeah, for Dubai. Different countries follow their own codes. The reason I ask you this is because my last case for today and our last case for this session comes from Colombia. Now, in Colombia, this is actually one of my personal favorites, yeah? Our partner in Colombia called AVS Tracking was working with a large private contracting company called Yuma. Now, let's see what Yuma does. Yuma provides public safety services and has a fleet of over 1,000 units distributed among ambulances, emergency responders, safety cars, and many more. Their main business sphere is supervising and attending to road accidents on highways around Colombia. All right? So, in the event of an accident, the road users would need to contact Yuma's customer care number. Okay? Now, this is a private organization. That's why I asked you. So, it's 999, 911. We know these numbers. If it's a private number, how are you going to know? So, in the event of an accident, a road user in Colombia had to contact Yuma's customer care number, and then they would be responsible for dispatching emergency services or roadside assistance. The primary problem here was that when an accident occurred, the presence of an operator on site as a first responder was very important, because the operator from Yuma would come on site, take pictures, assess the problem, and then advise the next steps. So you'd all agree that it's not very efficient when you're involved in an accident to wait for somebody to come to just analyze the situation and assess. Yeah? Next. I'm sorry, I skipped my line there. Okay. This also implied that the information was collected manually. It's 2021. Yeah? So there's going to be a lot more time that the operator takes in order to log the accident and then take the preventive measure. The poor road user, I'm hoping he's all right. We can all agree that this is not very efficient. So another major problem here was that the road users did not have a proper way to contact the customer care from Yuma in case of an accident. Because the number of the operator was on the toll signs on the side of the road, and when you're driving, are you really focusing on those numbers? Okay. Also, when an accident occurred, Yuma operator did not know the severity or the class of the accident. Like, did the vehicle overturn? Was it just a fender bender? Was it a tire puncture? Until he or she arrived on site. The other problem was the delay in attending to the road users, because the operator had to travel to the accident site and then proceed to register the accident, which you'll all agree is a lot of time wasted. Let us take a look at how this was implemented in Wialon. Okay, using Wialon's API, all the information of the units is sent to the client server. Okay, and in this way, all the roadside assistance units like ambulances, police cars, road safety, tow trucks, whatever is in the arsenal of Yuma, were dispatched according to the information that was provided on the client server. When an accident happens, the road user, logs into Yuma's web page or mobile application and uploads the required information, like a photograph or a type of the accident. Yuma operator is immediately notified and then sends the relevant assistance to the place of the accident to help the road user, thus avoiding the need for him or her to leave the office and visit the site. The road user can also view the assistance unit which is on its way, and he can gauge exactly how far it is and how long it's going to take for them to get to him. The results. Since the implementation of Wialon, more than 7,000 accidents have been promptly assisted. And 7,000 road users have been promptly assisted and accidents have been avoided as compared to a few hundred earlier. Yes, that's right. Wialon in this project has been directly linked to saving people's lives. Okay, this was achieved by massively reducing the waiting time for the operator to arrive on site, as well as then log the incident and then take preventive measures. In summary, the Yuma was able to save a lot of money, save a lot of unnecessary fuel-related expenses, as well as provide accurate and immediate care to the road users. That's all for this case. Questions? Yes?
It's a question for Zain. For the first project you talked about, did they recycle every GPS device they use for the container, or they reuse the container? So once you send the shipment from place to the other, do you remove the GPS device and install it on another one, or what do you do?
No, all of these containers were installed with GPS trackers. They were facing some issues while they needed a strategy to install these trackers efficiently on the containers. So what they did is they tried different types of devices. First, they tried devices from Quicklink. So some of them, the initial installed devices were from Quicklink, and then the next devices which fit perfectly for their needs was Jointech devices from Jointech. So they installed all these hardwares on the containers, because it was not only that they needed to track these containers when they were delivering, but also when they were maybe at the yard or somewhere else in the country. So they just wanted to know where all the containers are right now, which helped them to optimize.
So it's a fixed asset tracker per container.
Yes.
So they were not changing device.
No.
Did they use satellite devices or data device?
I know the exact devices. I just need to check, and I can get back to you if those devices were satellite devices or using the normal GSM connectivity.
You sure it's not a lock? You sure it's a fixed GPS asset tracker or a lock? Jointech, because they produce container locks with GPS capabilities.
So it was locked GPS tracker, because one of the challenges they were facing while installing these trackers was because it's a tracker and it's a very hard metal, so how they could drill the holes, and the Jointech devices had 4 holes or the Quicklink devices had 3 holes, so this was something done permanently.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, I'll give the mic back to Zain.
Click. Well, that brings us to the end of this segment, Cases Around the World, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. I would like to thank all our partners who supported us by sharing their cases. At the same time, I would like to encourage all of our partners to nominate their projects in the next IoT Project of the Year Awards, so that we can present them in our Wialon community. You can find more inspiring cases already available in our use case library on our website, gurtam.com or iotawards.gurtam.com. Many of these cases are also having PDF versions, which you can use to present similar solutions to your leads. We are always ready to assist our partners with the implementation of these projects, and will be looking forward to receiving such requests. Thank you everyone for your attention. Please give a round of applause to my colleagues on stage.